Hello, friends. Sergeant Host Eric here, and welcome to another exciting edition of The Type Police. Here we have a lady known as Edgy Wedgie, who considers herself an ENTP, claims to be one. And we're going to discuss today, we're going to discover whether she walks away a free woman or ends up tossed in the slammer as a violator of typology compliance laws.
Talking with famous people.
Okay, that's a new trick I put in there, huh? A little bit of that introduction song. So let's check out and see what she's got to say and what she's like. That's the problem with using this camera like this, because it's so much processing for my computer. It has
The Parliament. If I'm constantly looking at myself, it's only because I'm the most good-looking person I've ever seen, and which is why I feel the need to constantly look at myself in the viewfinder. And I'll shut up now. So I am back, your fellow ENTP. Yes, I am the epitome of
I like that joke.
humor. So today I wanted to talk about this video that I had promised a month ago, because I'm really good with keeping commitments, but well, I didn't, whatever. Yeah, so this was about my FE, because recently,
Okay, so right off the bat, I'm thinking ENFP, ENTP. And the reason is, she actually made me laugh a couple of times, which is, you gotta be pretty, you gotta catch me off guard a little bit, or say something really funny or something. It's not like she's hilarious so far, but that tends to indicate if I find the humor appealing, and I'm an any user, it's probably any style humor, rather than, say, slapsticky SE style humor that is not funny to me. So let's continue watching.
and by recently I mean about a couple of months, 4 months ago, I want to say 4 to 5 months ago, I kind of got into, not consciously, but rather unconsciously, trying to develop my FE, because everyone told me that I was too apathetic and that I should probably care a little more. So I was like, let's try this out, it's new. Which is not true, because I'm actually a really, really emotional individual. I'm also extremely blunt, and I'm just extremely straightforward, and that's like, okay, well, you messed up, and this is what you can do to fix it. And that's how I talk to myself, that's how I talk to everybody. That's just who I am. Okay, so developing my FE, it sucked.
I'm sure that's very annoying.
Well, to say the least, it did, and it's just, why? I don't think, well, it's ironic, because if you have FE, you're gonna have TI. Also, if I'm not wrong, you have all the functions. It's just like balancing them out, and again, MBTI, like the entire prospect, limits it all. I'm also gonna make another video about the big five, because I've really been getting into agreeableness and conscientiousness.
Alright, obviously I'm having some technical difficulties here. I may have to start this video over, but my initial feeling is she's probably an ENTP. However, I'd like to see her proceed this video in a non-choppy fashion so that I can judge her appropriately.
Could they have not made a bigger word? This is just too easy. Yeah, so neuroticism. And I am extremely high neuroticism, and I think I'm moderate conscientiousness. I'm kind of like moderate to low. Not exactly orally, which is ironic because I just implemented her. But anyway, we'll talk about the Big Five when we have to talk about the Big Five. Currently, trying to double up my FE. So that has been a process. It's been difficult, but I've kind of... I wouldn't say I've succeeded in any way because it makes me feel like absolute crap, for starters. And I have this video that I made a couple of months ago which was talking about ENTPs and emotions, and I think I had, when I thought that I was an INTP because I thought I was an INTP.
What I want to bring attention to here is that her topic, which she's getting to eventually, presumably, is this trying to double up on FE. She started it. I'm trying to double up on FE, and then she tangentialed away from it. Oh, a bunch of let me explain some things first before I actually get to it. She said, okay, so I've explained things. Now I'm starting to double up on FE. And she said, but let me explain some more things before I actually get to it. That's very NE, and I think it's more NETI than it is NEFI. She mentioned the Big Five, and I'd be interested to hear what she has to say in terms of why she validates certain things over other things or whatever. But let's proceed. And I expect we'll get confirmation she's an ENTP here, but I could, over the course of this, I'm going to explore what other possibilities I could make the arguments for, of course, and I'll try to make those arguments as well, and we'll see what we come up with.
Or whatever. I had another video which was INTPs and emotions a while ago. I want to say 6-7 months ago, maybe even longer than that. So as I said, I've been trying to develop my FE, and it's not been easy at all. It's actually been kind of difficult, and I have a really difficult time sort of, first of all, gauging people's emotions, which is weird because so I have realized that I am actually extremely scared about people judging me, although sometimes I act out in public as though I don't care. But I'm also scared, which makes sense because I think the FI is more concentrated on internal feeling, and it's more what does everybody think about me, but for FE it's more like what does the tribe think about me. This is what I've interpreted so far from Dave's Superpowers, and he talks about like the tribe, right? And I've realized I'm more scared of people who actually know me judging me than people who don't know me. So I wouldn't say obnoxious, but I'm kind of out there when I'm like out with my friends, and I really don't care that much about the people around me or the people who I'll never see again, because that's kind of like a philosophy thing that I have, which is like, if you're never gonna see this person again, why bother caring so much? Which, now that I'm thinking about it, like literally now that I'm thinking about it, makes sense, because that means that I give a lot more importance to people who I start to know better than the people who I don't. So I guess that makes sense, because that's like a normal thing. But I always had this like demeanor. It's just like, I don't care about what people think. But now that I'm starting to really, now that I'm starting to see or more consciously observe the way I act and my patterns of behavior and how scared I get, is very concentrated, or not very, is concentrated a lot.
Man, she's all over the place. And the thing is, this is what you get when you've got somebody whose NE is not adequately constrained. So TI is supposed to constrain NE, but TI constrains NE very loosely until and unless it starts getting explicit in how it's constraining it. By which I mean, if you do debate or something like that, it forces you to learn how to argue on the flow, line by line, stuff like that. That helps a lot to get the ENTP's TI effective at constraining its NE. I'm still not absolutely convinced she's NETI. She's definitely NE, but she's really all over the place, like I said. So it's hard to tell how she's parsing things at the moment, though my gut says TI.
A lot on the people around me judging me. So that's my FE coming out. That's what I meant for like this little segment. It was like, this is how my FE shows itself. It's just where people, just where I really act a certain way with certain people. I guess it's kind of fake. I mean, I don't want it to be, but I realize and there are like certain people around me who I just completely change around, and I become so much more enthusiastic, and I'm just like cracking jokes all the time, and it's just hard for me to be myself. So think about it as a graph, right? You've got a negative. I'll just draw it.
I don't have a great deal of clarity on what her point is here. Like, she's getting to some sort of point about FE. She's 7 minutes in. I'm curious as to what her analysis is, but she hasn't actually gotten to it at all. So let's look at this graph. The fact that she's presenting a graph, if you were going to sort of take the surface meaning of it, suggests a little bit, maybe TE, but it depends on what kind of graph she shows us. So let's find out.
Clearly, I've planned all of this out, clearly. So this is the graph, how conscious I get. So the y-axis is how conscious I get, and the x-axis is, okay.
By conscious, I guess you mean self-conscious.
Whatever. So the x-axis is closeness, so how close I am to the person, and the y-axis is how conscious I get when I'm around a person. Did I really need a graph for this? But anyway, so the less close I am to a person, the lesser.
I get it. I mean, that's a cool graph, and it suggests for sure TI, because she's attending to the fact that this emotionality follows this arc. You might think, well, that just means she's FI. Yeah, I think an FI person would probably have the same graph, except the FI person probably wouldn't make it and would think it's absurd to try to represent emotional stuff with a little graph like that. I mean, if you're an ENFP or an INFP or something like that, would you ever make that graph? And that shows you how tricky it can be typing, because you might say, well, look, she's talking about emotion, she's describing it, she's even got a little graph here, she must really understand emotion well. No, I mean, she probably understands it pretty poorly. She had a little graph.
Conscious I am around them, and as my closeness with someone increases, so does my consciousness level. So that's how scared I get of judgment. And then we've got the peak, where it's like, okay, so the peak I would say is kind of like, well, they're kind of an acquaintance, but they're not really an acquaintance. It's like I know them and I see them on a regular basis and I interact with them, and then we start to come down. So again, then the even more close you get to someone, the lesser conscious I start becoming. Now, I don't know if that's something that's present for everybody, but I'd say with my best friend, who's an ESFP, and I have two more, one's an ENFJ and one's an INFJ. I should have a video with the INFJ on this channel, but we think that she's an INTJ at that point, but don't bother watching it. I don't know why I said it if I didn't. So, okay, I'll just talk about my ESFP best friend, right? So that's probably how close I am to her, and I'm not that scared of being judged when I'm around her.
Now look, I want to reiterate the fact that ENFPs can seem just like ENTPs, depending on what they're talking about. They've got that same kind of quality, but her and then it reminds me of the way I talk.
I still am though. So that's my FE basically just coming out, and I don't know if the graphs differ for other types, but this is what it is for me. Again, consciousness, closeness. So fear of judgment and closeness. And
Let's
that's
check out her channel a little bit.
It also, closeness depends over a period of time, and I'm not going to define that because everybody knows how close you get to a person. Anyway, I don't know if I had to explain it for that long, but...
Come on! I need a definition!
So, yeah, that's kind of what happens.
That's
what I'm
closeness.
realizing over a period of time happens with me when I'm around people I'm moderately close, but I'm also really scared of fear of judgment, and that's something I've realized after I learned about the FE thing and the entire like functions. Because I always thought, or at least when I was an INTP, I kind of thought I was like, oh, well, I don't really care what people think at all. I'm just like too cool for them. I'm too different. But oh well, you can't be.
You care, Edgy. You care. Let's not lie to ourselves.
At the end of the day, whether it's through TE or FE, you kind of need to sort of go along with it. Now, actually getting to developing my FE,
I'm gonna look at this shit.
It's been rough. It's kind of takes a toll on me emotionally a lot, because now I'm really trying to analyze my emotions a little too much. So now anything that I experience or anything that I feel, I don't know if this is how you're supposed to develop your FE. So I don't know if this is how you're supposed to develop your FE, or if that's just normal, or... See, I don't know. I didn't see any like videos talking about this is how to develop your FE. I kind of just thought that you're supposed to be more conscious of what you're feeling and give it more importance, because I didn't do that in the past, and I had like this 4-month period where I didn't cry at all. For 4 months I didn't cry, and then the last 4 months all I've been doing is crying, which is a weirdly insightful thing. But to be fair, I was also kind of stressed because like college and school. But now I've reached a point where I'm just overanalyzing my emotions too much, that they actually like take a little too much control over me. I feel that I'm taking too much control over me, but then I actually spoke to my ESFP friend about it, which was extremely difficult, by the way. I don't know if that's just me as a...
Okay,
I don't know if it's just me as an individual or it's like an ENTP thing. But, so I spoke to...
So this is an interesting section of the video, because she's talking about for 4 months she didn't cry at all, and then for the next 4 months she cried a lot, and she didn't feel like she had good control over her emotions and stuff. It's a little bit, it does a little bit make me question, maybe she is an ENFP, except I understand the way that what she means by this, being an ENFP myself. I'm very subject to periods of emotionality, and I don't have a good handle on my emotions when I'm subject to those periods of emotionality. Having a lot of emotions is not contraindicative of polar FI. Understanding what to do with them, dealing with them well, utilizing them to accomplish some sort of outcome, that's indicative of non-polar FI. So, for example, both me and my daughter Delilah, whose other people have tried to type police arrest as saying she's not an ENTP, but my daughter Delilah definitely is in either ENTP or ESTP. People want to say she's not TI because she has a certain emotionality to her. But the reality is that's not indicative of FI. Really, FI types, INFPs, you can kind of, at least I can get the vibe of emotionality from them. But a lot of FI types don't display particularly emotional. And the reason is because their emotions are serious to them and precious, and not something to be exposed lightly to the world. They might not be validated in some way. For ENTPs, but this is contraindicative of what she just said. She's like, it was tough for her to talk to her ESTP friend about it. Well, I guess that's more doing analysis about it, and you've got to be revelatory of something you don't understand. I guess your emotions would be one explanation. But I don't have any problem displaying my emotions in the world, and I cry a lot. I cry a lot more than most people probably. I just get overcome by emotions. And it depends on lots of factors as to why. So I'm not taking from this really that I should question the ENTP designation. She was previously self-typing as an INTP, and I don't think she's an INTP. I think she's correctly retyped herself as ENTP. So, I can see that there's a history of non-compliance here, but she's corrected it in time before the type police have arrived. So I'm just going to give it a little bit more because I want to confirm, but I think she's an ENTP.
To my ESFP friend about it. I also spoke to my ENFJ friend about it, and both of them were like, "This is normal," and which was funny, and it was very unexpected for me because I thought I was going crazy. They're like, "Okay, it's okay to feel whatever you're feeling. You don't have to constantly break it down so much," which is, I think, this is like if you're developing your FE. Learn this kind of, because I feel like if you're in the 60-40 spectrum, the MBTI, like if you're in an ENTP, ESTP, I'll put up the rest. If you're any of the following types, then I think if you have TI with FE and your TI is more dominant than your FE or slightly more dominant than your FE, whatever, it gets kind of difficult not to overanalyze your emotions too much, because you're basically like, what the hell is happening? And so for the longest time I would just not do anything about my emotions. I wouldn't even let myself experience them, and I'd just go through like certain emotions because of certain things, and I'd just sort of dismiss it and kind of like close it. And I did realize over like the last 4 months that came up a lot, and that emotions from like years ago, like, not that I've been through a lot of trauma, but like everyone goes through shit, and the thing with that is, if you don't deal with it at that particular moment, you're kind of screwed,
Shit does persist.
So that came up a lot in the last 4 months, because again, I was actively trying to like dig out stuff that made me feel things, because I've been told that I don't feel enough. So the last 4 months it was just me consciously trying to embrace my feelings, and it's been not fun. I'm gonna say that. You get really flippin' anxious. Honestly, would not recommend it, but also would probably recommend it, because deal with your shit, people. Deal with your stuff. But yeah, so quick to all of this is, don't overanalyze your emotions, but then don't not analyze them at all as well, which is a really difficult balance to find. At least for me it is, because it's like, when do you know when to stop? And I feel like I'm someone who needs some sort of routine or some sort of certainty. I'm slowly
Okay, I still really haven't heard from her anything that's decisively TI that I would feel confident saying for sure she's ENTP or TI at all. She could still be ENFP. I see a lot of NE, and I think she's an NE Dom. I don't think she's a second function NE user. So that means she could be ENFP, she could be ENTP. My gut still says ENTP, but another possibility is, if she is a TI user, that she'd be ESTP. That's conceivable as well, because I've heard her talk about a lot of relatively concrete things. It's sort of abstract, but it's not really parsing style analysis. So jury's out on this. I'm gonna let her walk. I'm gonna trust that she's telling me the truth here. I don't have enough cause to arrest her, but I'm going to make a note in the police blotter that other type police might want to drive by her house occasionally, make sure she's not, using crystals to cure herself or something, in which case we'd know she was an ENFP. But no offense, ENFPs. I'm sure the crystals work beautifully. And regardless, and you guys have lots of advantages over us too. So don't, just because I tease you a little bit, don't get all butthurt about it. I love you guys. You're wonderful. I shouldn't have said that. That was bad FE on my part. I got bad FE sometimes. I should listen to this girl and double up on my FE. There's one other thing I wanted to talk about in this video, since it's kind of rambling anyway. I want to go over these comments on the Type Police videos that I'm so flabbergasted by, and the level of engagement. It's incredibly gratifying, and I think there's some cautionary tales to be. That's not what I wanted to push. This one, push that one, Eric. I could just go to the video actually, because I know which video it is. I should have pushed that one. God damn it. Stupid Eric, stupid Eric. This is the one. I mean, like, these comments are just amazing. There's everywhere I look, there's just really interesting comments, but I want to go down to the one I was looking at before, which is on this video, I think, because it really had an interesting conversation about why people like Type Police that I want to read out loud, and also make note of the caution from Margie. Margie, again, thank you for the badge and for your engagement in this. So, is it down here somewhere? I wish I had prepped this out so you didn't make you wait right now, but I think it might be under here. Uh, 9 a.m. PST. Okay, so I think I'm going to do a video with Pukoki. We're going to Type Police together, so try one of those. See, I was like, okay, I'm sorry for this slowness here. God damn it. I'm looking for this thing. Where is it? God damn it. It's like, I think it might have been Power Red Bull having a conversation with Margie. Maybe it's this one. Oh wait, I think it's this one actually. I wonder if the reason why this Typing Police thing is enjoyed so much by the community is because something in between a test and an informative video. It contains the person explaining something about MBTI, but at the same time uses a real-life example. To me, it makes MBTI come alive more than just informative videos. Most MBTI videos in general are like learning stuff all the time in class, but never doing anything to test your skills in reality. With actual examples, it also showcases how someone else is typing others. And then this is where I really thought it was interesting, is Margie's comment here says, I also think it's the arrogance aspect of it. We all study this stuff and may go so far as to debate, argue our understanding of it, but most of us lack the confidence to expose, possibly humiliate, a person intent on their personality type in such a public manner. Let me just say in response to that, it never occurs to me that I might humiliate somebody. I hope I don't. It does occur to me, however, in some videos that I don't share the link with the other person. Like, for example, Earthly Ram. I guess you could say humiliate. I don't know. I don't think of it like that. I just don't think about it like that, I guess. I don't know. I do have confidence in my ability to win the argument about what type she is, or concede when somebody else has better arguments. So it doesn't really, I'm not worried about getting called out on the typing part of it, because I'm either right or there's something I haven't considered that somebody else is going to point out, and then I'll agree with them. So I don't know. As I don't feel bad because I'm not attacking them as people. I'm attacking their identity as a certain type. Like, if you insist you're an INTP and you're actually an ESFP, well, I mean, I don't know what to say about it. You're making YouTube videos purporting to be an INTP and giving information about INTPs, and it's totally wrong, and you're not an INTP. Well, then you're under arrest, and your feelings don't matter. I mean, they matter, but it's like I'm not going to arrest you super meanly. Oh, come on, guest. I'm not a bully and an asshole. That's so mean. You're a bully and an asshole. I don't say that to those people. I don't say they're a bully and an asshole. I just say they're wrong about something. And I try to be nice about it. I try. Maybe I fail. Okay, INFP. Wes is an INFP. I guarantee you, Wes is an INFP. Why? Because I'm totally being supervised right now. Supervisor type. All right, maybe I was a little bit of a bully in that one. All right, ENFP. Okay, well, why am I an idiot, though? Just because I'm wrong doesn't make me an idiot. I mean, you're wrong about that, but I don't think you're an idiot. You might be right that I'm a bully and an asshole and mean and all that stuff. And perhaps you came here specifically to tell me that. I don't know. But I think you'd be wrong to say I'm an idiot. Nothing? Okay. It's pure drama. Now include the fact that the group gets to participate too, as just happened right there, and you saw it was pure drama. I know I observe people via YouTube or otherwise and play the lonesome game of trying to figure out what functions they could be displaying. That is that, but with the various perspectives of the typology community. This is that, but with the very... right. Okay. What is interesting is the group response to these videos, like a mob out for blood, lol. Why is it, do you think? Amy says, my sense is that many people have unredressed grievances, probably much more consequential and likely unrelated to typology in their lives. The type policing process may be acting as a surrogate, alleviating their sense of powerlessness, at least momentarily. Grim Song says, I definitely pick up the mob out for blood aspect, though it seems slightly more controlled than that. Perhaps a packed Roman Colosseum watching gladiators. My only concern is that some people are getting unintellectual in their discourse by getting personal in their use of interjections and topics, using slurs to say you don't like someone when that has nothing to do with verifying or speculating on a person's type. It just seems cowardly, unjust, and imbecilic. I can foresee this being a potential problem down the line. So, who's doing that? Am I doing that? I don't think so. I mean, I do indicate whether I like the person or not based on their presentation, but the thing is, I have a long history of judging media for its merits on aesthetic grounds, and a long history of doing people the favor of giving them direct, serious, constructive criticism. So it's not when I'm engaging with somebody directly who said, like, if you send me a link, say I want you to type please my video or something, I'll be much more careful in my approach, because that person I'm providing some sort of guidance to in regard to their media making perhaps, or their typing or something. However, if I'm not engaged with the person and it's just somebody's video, you got to remember, there's this fallacy of that is applied to corporations. The corporations are bad because blah. And it's the same thing with saying that what I'm doing is bad because somebody's feelings get hurt. You're not considering the feelings of all the people who watch the videos. So if lots and lots and lots of people are enjoying this thing that I'm making, then their feelings count too. Right? but it's not something that people typically consider. Same with corporations, you know. Well, I don't like the fact that corporations making so much money. Well, the reason they're making so much money is because lots and lots of people want to buy their product. So, and those people's feelings matter too. Anyhow, as you see, things get a little testy around here with the FITI conflict, which is a natural human conflict that will persist forever. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and, like I said, let this chick go. She's on alert though. She could be an ENFP for sure, and I'm not sure yet. But I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt and say probably ENTP. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese. And one last thing I gotta do. One last important thing.
Talking with famous people.